The way new patients find your physical therapy clinic is changing forever. People are no longer scrolling through search results. They're not trying to find the best blue link on search. And in the next 3 to 5 years, AI tools like Google Maps, ChatGPT, Google AI Mode, and Google Gemini is going to decide which clinics get recommended and which ones are invisible. So the real question is, will your clinic be the one that AI chooses, or is it the one that AI forgets? And today, I'm going to give you the 3 things you can do in order to make sure that your clinic is showing up in AI results. Because let's be honest, these big chain clinics, they don't move very fast. So I think this is a huge opportunity for clinics like yours to get ahead of the game and own search for the next 10 years. But first, what I want to do is I want to show you what AI search actually looks like. So I'm going to share my screen and give a couple examples. If you're listening to this on the podcast, definitely head on over to the YouTube channel so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But the first thing I'm pulling up here is a Google page. And what I did inside of Google is I searched, what is the best physical therapy clinic near me? And you can see right at the top of the page, it gives me an AI overview. And this AI overview basically takes up half of the page without me scrolling. So above the fold, it takes up half the page. If you've listened to my previous podcast about website wireframing, you know how important above the fold is. In this AI overview, what it says is the best physical therapy clinic near Kingfield, Maine. That's where I'm located, so it knows exactly where I am. Based on online reviews, this is super important, we'll get back to this, is Allied Physical Therapy. They have a location in Farmington, which is relatively close to Kingfield, and another location in Kingfield itself. Allied Physical Therapy is an outpatient clinic that offers both physical therapy and occupational therapy services. So a couple really big points here, okay? One of the big points is that I searched in more of a question-based search. What we know from the keyword search volume data right now is that this isn't happening as much on Google as it is in other LLMs like ChatGPT. People are still using Google. When they go into Google, I think they're just kind of hardwired to just type in physical therapy clinic near me, and they'll just type that in. And when you do that, these AI overviews do not show up. It goes directly to Google Maps and Google Business Profiles. But I do think that this is potentially the way of the future. People are going to start interacting with Google on a little bit more conversational approach. So I do think that this is going to become very relevant in the next 6 to 12 months. As of right now, it's not as relevant, but if you want to show up in these AI overviews, Google is telling you exactly what you need to do in order to show up. It says it right in the AI overview, right? The best physical therapy clinic near Kingfield, Maine, based on online reviews. So based on the number of Google reviews that Allied Physical Therapy has, is the reason why it's recommending it in the AI overview. That just goes to show how important Google reviews actually are, right? Google is literally telling us that the reason it is showing Allied Physical Therapy in the AI overview is because of their online reviews. We need to take these clues, and you as a clinic owner need to make sure that you are prioritizing your Google reviews and making sure that you're continuing to follow up with patients, because this is going to become a bigger and bigger driver of showing up in these AI overviews. Now what I want to show you is the search on ChatGPT. We know inside of ChatGPT, people use this on a little bit more conversational basis, okay? So, I talk to my ChatGPT like it's my best friend. I feel like it knows me like it's my best friend. And people aren't going to go to ChatGPT and just say best physical therapy clinic near me. They're going to have a conversation with it, right? So what somebody would type in, and what I'm going to type in here is, what are the best physical therapy clinics in Portland, Maine? And now it's loading, it's searching the web, and let's see what it shows up. So sometimes when you type into, this is the tricky part about ChatGPT right now, okay? It's very unpredictable in terms of what the output is that you're going to get, unless you're really, really specific with it. So what it gave me here is a list of the best physical therapy clinics that that they're recommending for me. Sometimes when I type this in, it'll actually give me a map. That map is directly pulled from Google Maps. So again, really important to know that, where your clinic stands on Google Maps, because that is a really big driving factor for showing up in LLMs. But what we can see here is, ChatGPT basically spit out to me, here are some of the top rated physical therapy clinics in Portland, Maine, based on expertise, specialization, and patient feedback. So the first one it gives me is Alliance Physical Therapy. This is located on Veranda Road in Portland. The second bullet point it gives me is it has a 5-star rating from over 270 Google reviews and is highly praised for post-surgery rehab, dry needling, and personalized care. So in the second bullet point, it is telling me that the reason it is recommending this is because it is a 5-star rating and they have 270 Google reviews. Super important. The second listing that shows up is Dirigo Physical Therapy and Performance. This is based in downtown on Congress Street. It offers elite evidence-based rehab for athletes and active individuals with strength training and modern methods. So what it's doing here is it's giving me the specific services that Dirigo has. Okay, so evidence-based rehab, works with athletes, works with active individuals, strength training, and modern methods. And we can literally see where Google is pulling all this information from. It's scanning its website and it's pulling the specific services that is on that website there. So this is where I talk a lot about money pages. I'm going to talk about in this podcast, where these money pages and these specific service landing pages are super, super important. So let's see, if I say, give me a map of the best physical therapy clinics in Portland. So this is just another example. This is oftentimes what shows up to begin with. And let's see what it gives me here. So again, this is pulling directly from, this looks like page 1 of Google. Okay. So it's pulling like Google Business Profile. So now it's giving me number 1. Portland Physical Therapy is giving me number 1 there. Dirigo Physical Therapy comes in at number 2, and then Alliance Physical Therapy comes in at number 3. But what you can see here is it's listing the number of Google reviews that they have, and then it's giving these specific services again. So you need to make sure on your website can't just look like a brochure and just have a home page, an about page, and a contact page. You need to have these specific service pages on your website, because Portland Physical Therapy has one-on-one orthopedic physical therapy. It has spine rehab physical therapy. Dirigo Physical Therapy has athletic rehab physical therapy. It has a performance center in downtown Portland. Alliance Physical Therapy has orthopedic physical therapy, post-surgery physical therapy, spinal and extremity manipulations. And I can bet if I went to any of these different websites, they have a page for each one of these. So this is really important, and just a little bit of a snapshot into what you can see whenever you are searching in these LLMs. All right. So what I want to do for you now is I'm going to break down the 3 most important things to make sure that you're actually showing up in these LLMs. And the first one is starting with your Google Business Profile. Okay, so this is, a lot of times ChatGPT will pull directly from your Google Business Profile, but this is definitely the case if you want to show up in those AI overviews and on Google Maps. Google literally told us in their newest documentation that they're putting much more emphasis on their Google Business Profile. We know that AI tools rely heavily on Google's local data, okay? And if your Google Business Profile isn't optimized, that means you're pretty much invisible. It's that simple for local service-based businesses like physical therapy. You're not gonna show up in AI-generated results. You're not going to be recommended, and patients aren't going to find you. This is actually so important that we started offering this as a service inside of Patch. Before, we never touched people's Google Business Profile, as the only thing that really mattered was updating that profile every now and then. It really never moved the needle for SEO. But now Google is literally telling us that this is the most important thing if you want to start showing up on page 1 and in their AI mode. So if you ever want to learn how to do this, head to the link in the bio. You can get a free SEO audit by our team, and we can go through how we'd exactly help your clinic and how optimized all of your Google Business Profile and your AI rankings actually are. So let's dive into what an optimized Google Business Profile actually looks like. There's a handful of things you must do. Okay, first, this seems like super obvious, but you need to claim and fully build out your Google Business Profile. It has to be verified. I've gone on with clinic owners who haven't even verified or claimed their Google Business Profile yet. Let me tell you, if you're not verified, how could you ever imagine Google wanting to show you and having trust in sending some of their traffic your way? If you haven't verified or claimed your listing yet, please stop listening to this and go and do that right now. Seriously, go and do that. Then once you've claimed it, you need to make sure that it's fully filled out. Again, too many clinics I've met with that have their Google Business Profile, they set it up when they open their business, but just hit skip throughout all the steps and never really filled anything out. That means your clinic name, address, phone number, website, hours, services. This is key. Okay, you need to fill out as much things as possible on your Google Business Profile. And you can't just write physical therapy, okay? That's just too generic. You wanna add at least 10 specific services and include your city name in each one. For example, dry needling in Denver, sports physical therapy in Capitol Hill, pelvic floor physical therapy in Cherry Creek, etc., etc. The second thing you wanna do, now that everything is set up and optimized, you need to maintain your Google Business Profile. And you need to post updates on your Google Business Profile every single week. I do think it can be every other week if you're doing things like technical SEO and really optimizing things as much as possible. But if I had to guess, you're probably not doing that. I know that sounds like a lot, but it can be super simple. Like post a patient tip on your Google Business Profile, add a quick testimonial, a link to your latest blog, repurpose some of your Instagram content, or even just a photo from the clinic. Really what Google is looking for is activity, and activity means relevance. And the more active your profile is, the more that AI is going to trust that you're a legit, up-to-date business. Speaking of photos, you need to aim to add new clinic photos every quarter, okay? So if you go to your Google Business Profile right now and you haven't added a photo in 2 years, Google will literally tell you the last time a photo was added. You need to make sure that's within the last 3 months. When you're doing that, Google understands that you're a business that's active, you're providing services. These photos, they should also show some of the services that you've listed on your Google Business Profile, okay? Maybe you offer dry needling. Dry needling is one of your services. If you can add a photo with dry needling and you have a service on your Google Business Profile that is dry needling, people that are looking for dry needling, Google is actually going to show that for people that are searching for it, okay? It is really that simple. A little pro tip here for Google and adding photos is Google prioritizes a real photo of the exterior of your clinic, okay? There's a little section at the bottom of your Google Business Profile, and when you can edit it and update it, that will say add an exterior photo. Make sure you add this. This is super important to, again, just show that you're legit and you actually have a standalone space. The third thing in your Google Business Profile is to make sure that your name, address, and phone number, or your NAP, is consistent all throughout, okay? So you're gonna wanna make sure that this is not only the same on your Google Business Profile and your website, but in other local directories as well. So anywhere your business is listed, you want your NAP to be consistent. AI and Google, they want consistency. Again, this shows that you're legit, and it's gonna avoid a potential flag or de-verification of your profile if things are congruent throughout. The fourth thing, and we saw this when we were looking directly in the AI models, is to get Google reviews on the regular. And you also have to make sure you're replying to every single one, okay? So when somebody leaves a review, do not just say, oh, great, they left a review, perfect, I've been nagging them for the last 3 months. You need to go in, you need to reply to it, you need to mention their name, you need to actually look like a real human when you're doing it. This is super important. Again, this is just another check for your account being active. All right, so to recap, fully optimize your Google Business Profile. You need to add specific services with your city. You need to post weekly updates and photos. You need to make sure that your NAP is consistent, and you need to reply to every single review using relevant keywords. If you do this right, you're gonna see a massive increase in your chances of being found and recommended in AI tools, and that's gonna get you more phone calls and more form fill-outs and more discovery calls. It's one of the easiest, highest ROI things you can do for your clinics online. online presence. And to be honest, most clinics are not doing this. The big chain clinics are not doing it, which is why you should be doing it. And if you do, you're going to win the AI visibility game before it really even starts, because I seriously think we're still like 6 months to a year ahead of all of this right now. All right, let's talk about the second thing. This is, again, a little bit more in depth. This is a little bit deeper. You need a little bit of SEO knowledge, but this is creating AI readable website content. So I'm going to be real with you. Most clinic websites are built like a digital brochure. And if what I'm describing here describes your website, don't worry, it's okay. There's plenty of time to change. But most websites, they just have a homepage and an about page and maybe one service, a physical therapy page and a contact page. And that just doesn't cut it anymore. AI tools like ChatGPT and Google Search, they're scanning your website for two things. They want to know, are you local? And do you offer services that people are searching for? And do you provide clear, structured answers to what people are searching for? And if the answer is yes, then you've got a real shot at showing up. And if it's not, then you might be invisible. So let's get tactical with this. Here's exactly what you need to do. The first thing, and again, I mentioned this when we were overlooking inside of Google and ChatGPT, is you need to build out these local service landing pages. These are pages on your website that combine a specific service with a specific location. I call these money pages because they attract a high intent traffic and they help AI know exactly who you help and where. So examples of these pages could be dry needling in Boston, running physical therapy in Portland, Maine, manual therapy in Culver City, Los Angeles. Each one of these has a service in a neighborhood or a city, and that's intentional because AI tools serve local searchers with local pages. This is becoming really, really important. It was important before, but even more so now with these AI overviews. So if you don't have pages like this, you're not going to get found. It really is that simple. Inside of these pages, you're going to want to do a handful of things, okay? You're going to want to mention local landmarks. You're going to want to mention neighborhoods. For example, you could say located just a block from the Back Bay T stop, or helping runners along the Portland waterfront. These details help AI confirm your local presence. So if there's, in Boston, I could say, we're located just steps from the Boston Commons on Boylston Street, just directly across from the Arlington T stop. Those specifics there, beforehand, Google was not picking that stuff up. But now with the AI overviews and the way they crawl your pages, it is building all of these things out, okay? So when we're talking about these pages, there's a handful of things that need to be added on there, including those local landmarks, okay? So one of the things you can do is you can embed a Google map on there. This is a trust signal. AI loves when a Google map is on there because a lot of times it's pulling directly from that. And basically what this is doing is it's verifying that you are where you say you are. And if you have that trust signal from Google, obviously you're going to show up in Google Maps. You're going to show up higher there. But ChatGPT is also going to look at that and just confirm, you are where you say you are. The next thing you can do is add schema markup. Schema, again, you probably have no idea what schema is, but basically what this is it's a translator for your website, and it tells AI what your content is. There's really two different types of schema. There's a local business schema. This is going to be what you're putting on your money pages. And there's a FAQ schema. If you're going to want to answer like common questions on the page. And this is more so for those AI overviews or those question-based searches that come through. We didn't go over this when I showed you Google's page 1, but if you continue scrolling down, there's a section on there that says like people also ask. And there's questions like, how much does physical therapy cost? Do I need to talk to my doctor before physical therapy? If you have those questions answered in your schema, you're going to show up on page 1. You're going to show up in the top 3 on Google Maps, and ChatGPT is definitely going to start showing you. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're using correct formatting with all of these. AI tools, what we know right now is they prefer scannable content. So you're going to want to structure your money pages with headlines. And again, you're answering a question in one of the headlines, like what is dry needling or dry needling physical therapy, Back Bay, Boston. You're going to want to use bullet points for clarity, and you're going to want to make sure that you have short, direct answers at the top for each major question that you're answering on there. Really what we want to do is we want to make it easy for AI and for humans, to be honest with you, because humans are still going to your website, to read your page fast. The other handful of things that you can do is you're going to want to make sure that you had social proof on there. AI loves social proof, and the more that you have people talking about you, the more that it can recommend commend you. We saw that again in the AI snippets that were sent to us when we did our searching. They pulled directly from those Google reviews. If you have social proof on your website, that is just another trust signal for the LLMs to start showing you. You're going to want to make sure you're including a call to action. So something like, book your $50 evaluation today and get out of pain faster. This is signaling that you're open for business. And that's something that AI picks up on as well. And the last part is internal linking. So you're going to want to make sure that this money page that we're talking about here, it's linking to other relevant blogs, FAQs, service pages on your site, social media accounts that you have, bonus points if you have a YouTube video that also is talking about this. So for example, if you have a dry needling Boston money page, you're going to want to make sure that it's sent to the ultimate guide of dry needling in Boston blog that you wrote. You're going to want to make sure that it has a YouTube video that's talking about dry needling. You're going to want to make sure that there's a link to an Instagram post of you dry needling, etc., etc. This is going to create a web of relevance, and AI loves that. AI loves scanning your sitemap, making sure all this stuff is sitemapped out correctly. Again, we're going down a rabbit hole with this stuff, but this stuff is very, very important. And look, I know this sounds like a lot, and honestly it is, but most clinic owners get stuck here. They either don't have the time or they try to do it themselves and just kind of end up with generic, ineffective pages, and they don't rank, and they just assume that this doesn't work. So this is the kind of thing that's smart to hire out. If you can bring someone in who actually understands AI, local SEO, and how to build proper money pages, you're going to save a ton of time, avoid frustration, and most importantly, you're going to actually get results. This is where you win or lose when it comes to getting found in AI. Second to Google Business Profile, this is the most important thing. And I put Google Business Profile before all of this because I still think most of the actual traffic that are looking for physical therapy is going to Google for that. We're still seeing that happen right now. So once you have your money pages built out, you need to make sure your sitemap is set up correctly. I mentioned that earlier. And again, if you've never heard of site mapping before, don't try to figure that out. Basically what this is using internal links to connect blogs to your service page and link your popular pages together. So you have a very clean map so the AI models in Google can read your website versus just having a bunch of different pages that don't actually link together, and it's very messy and confusing. What we want to do is we want to create a web of relevance. AI tools love this. So the better your sitemap is, the easier it is to follow things. And a little bonus point with your website here, I know we're talking about money pages specifically, but if you can write FAQ style blog posts, we're seeing this start to work really, really well. Basically, these blog posts are going to answer questions that people might be typing into the LLMs or into Google. So is dry needling effective for your low back? How can physical therapy help plantar fasciitis? Do I need a referral for PT in California? If you can keep it simple and focus on one question per blog, and you're writing a short, direct answer in a handful of paragraphs, that's the kind of stuff that AI is looking for. Okay, so quick recap of all of that stuff. What we want to do is we want to build out money pages. And these local service pages are for neighborhoods and services. A bonus point to all this stuff is you can add FAQ blogs with clear and short answers. You're going to want to make sure that you have schema markup. You're going to embed your Google Maps. You can use headlines, bullets, short answers for easy formatting, for scannable content. Make sure you have social proof on there, include call to actions, and make sure you're linking everything. That was a lot, but super, super important stuff. The third thing that you can do to get found in these AI models is get listed and get talked about online and basically everywhere. Okay. And this is really all about where is your business also located other than your website? AI tools, really, whether it's GPT or Gemini or even voice assistants like Siri, or people are talking to their GPTs now, they're trained to trust authority signals. All right. And this means that they look around the internet and ask, is this clinic showing up on trusted websites? Are other people talking about them? Does this business look legit? And one of the fastest ways to prove you're a legit, trustworthy clinic is to be listed in as many directories as possible. Okay. This is something that we do for our local SEO clients in the first 30 days. It's that important. So here's the key. Even if real people aren't using all of the directories, AI tools are still scanning them. Think about it like this. You might not be using Snapchat Maps or searching Yelp every day or going to Map, but AI models are checking those places out. And if you're listed, great. AI sees that and says, all right, this clinic's everywhere. They are legit. Let me recommend them. And if you're not listed, AI might think that you're not a real business, or more importantly, not a serious one, and you're not going to get recommended. So it's not about whether you use these tools. It's about whether AI can find you on them. So the first step is making sure that your clinic is listed everywhere. There's rungs to these things, all right? The most important ones you're going to want to make sure that you're on is your Google business profile. You have an Instagram account, a Facebook account, a YouTube channel, a TikTok channel, and then some of the other big ones are going to be Bing and Yelp. And there's like physical therapy specific ones as well, that if you're listed in them, these are just bonuses. So there's things like Healthgrades, WebMDs, ZocDoc, Chamber of Commerce. These are also helpful too, okay? But you're going to want to make sure that you're definitely in those bigger ones. And if you're listed everywhere, that's, a bigger bonus. We talked about this earlier, but when you're listing yourself in all of these different directories, you need to make sure that your NAP is consistent through all of them. So name, address, phone number. What the AI models do is it will take a look at your Google business profile as a source of truth. And then what it's going to do is going to scan all of those other directories. And even if one letter is off, or you have Suite FA and you have Suite 2A on two different profiles, the AI models hate that. And they think like, oh no, red flag, this clinic probably isn't legit because these two listings are not the same. So you need to make sure you're double checking every listing. You need to copy and paste your NAP exactly from your Google business profile. And there's really no shortcuts with that. Next up, this is going to sound obvious, but I feel like it's important to mention, is you need to make sure you're showing up on social media. AI looks for social proof. Are people talking about you? Are you active? Are you connected online? So here's what you need to make sure you're doing. You obviously need to make sure you're posting all across all of the platforms, but you need to make sure your website is actually listed on these social media accounts. So in your Instagram bio, if your website is not in your Instagram bio, that is a bad trust signal for the AI models, because that's just one less backlink, and that's one of the most important backlinks. So you need to make sure your Instagram, your Facebook, your YouTube, your TikTok channel all has your website URL listed in it. And again, this is something that I think you can just overlook, but this is just another backlink. It's a really easy backlink that you can have. If you have staff members as well that post online, make them put your URL in their profile. The more URLs you can have and more profiles, the better. Again, you need to make sure you're posting regularly, patient wins, tips, whatever. I talked about this in the previous podcast, but Google is now indexing Instagram videos. So if you have a patient win on your Instagram video that is SEO optimized, the odds of that showing up on Google in the next 6 to 12 months are extremely high. Make sure that you are setting your alt tags correctly, because AI notices all of this stuff. And honestly, don't start there. If you can get mentioned in some of the micro influencers in your community, some of the local media that's out there, if you can be a guest on a podcast or featured in a local blog, those mentions and backlinks tell AI that this clinic is a trusted source and there's dozens of people out there that are talking about them. That is what we define authority as, and it helps you get surfaced by AI. But let me tell you about the most important social media channel. And this is the channel that I feel like most clinic owners do not have. They're not posting on. Hopefully you're watching this on this channel right now, and that is YouTube. AI loves YouTube, especially Google, because, well, Google owns YouTube. AI models, what we know right now is they're surfacing these video results and even in text-based searches. So posting videos titled something like PT for runners in Portland or dry needling for shoulder pain in Denver. If you can keep the titles of your YouTube videos specific and local, because again, AI connects those dots, guess what? You're going to become a local expert, and AI wants to recommend you. So make sure, please, if you can take one thing from this podcast, from this video, please be posting on YouTube. I don't know what the numbers actually are right now, but I know it is close, if not has surpassed Google as the #1 search engine right now. I think this is the wave of the future. That's why I'm posting this on YouTube. That's why I create these videos, because I'm super bullish on YouTube. And I think even more importantly for a brick and mortar clinic, because if somebody's searching for best physical therapy or physical therapy exercises, YouTube is now going to understand where they're located and it's going to recommend your video. And if you can have an awesome 5 to 10 minute video about hip pain and what you need to do for hip pain, and then you have a link in there to set up a discovery call, you are going to start getting more and more leads from your YouTube channel. Those YouTube videos are going to start recommended inside of ChatGPT, definitely in Google. Google's already doing this right now. All the AI overviews are going to include videos just like that. So you need to make sure you have a YouTube channel. So 3 things that you're going to want to make sure you're doing to show up in AI search. The first thing, make sure your Google Business Profile is optimized. The second thing, make sure you have money pages, which are landing pages on your website that include a location and a service. Make sure they're all SEO optimized. Don't skimp out on that part because you won't see results and you're not going to think it's going to work. And then the third thing is you're going to want to make sure your business is listed everywhere on the internet, all of the local directories, all of the social media channels, as many guest appearances as you can make, the better with all of that stuff. This is what we know right now. It's August 6th as I'm recording this. I'll probably do another one of these in 6 months with the 3 new things that we know is getting people in AI search. But as of right now, this is what you can be doing. We know this is working. So make sure you're implementing this. Again, as a small cash clinic, you have the ability to be very agile. You can change things on the fly, and the ATI clinic in your area has to run these changes 10 times up a ladder, and they're never going to get it approved for a one-off clinic. It needs to be a company-wide change, which is just really, really hard for them to implement. So if you want to show up number one on Google Maps, if you want to show up in the AI search models, if you want to show up in Google's AI mode, these are the 3 things that you need to be doing. And if you want to know where your clinic is ranking with all of this stuff, head to the link in bio, sign up for a free SEO audit. We'll tell you all of these things and where you're located. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. I will talk with you soon.